look, I know people who have came to Christ on their deathbed because when they were faced with the finality of mortality at the end of their life, they thought to themselves, there must be more to this. Way in word, knowledge every session. You know the drill. This is the word while I wait. I am at my son's soccer practice. You know, I like to wait here. And while I'm waiting, I want to give you the word of God. So today, I want to talk about something that happened earlier this week at my son's school. So my son, one of my sons is elementary school, and at his school, a fifth grader passed away. And a lot of times, especially at a young age, dealing with death is not something that a lot of younger kids do. And so, you know, it was kind of shocking when he came home to me and he was telling me, hey, somebody passed away at school. And I was like, well, who passed away? Who are you talking about? And he was like, well, somebody, it was like a fifth grade female. She passed away. And my first reaction to him was, are you okay? He's like, well, a lot of people were crying. A lot of people were very sad. I mean, there was all kind of people who didn't know what to do. And he's like, but I think I'm okay. And I'm like, are you sure you're okay? And the reason why I'm asking him this is because a lot of times people just don't know how somebody else reacts when somebody passes away in their life. A lot of times when somebody passes away in your life, or you know somebody who has like a loved one pass away, you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know how they'll grieve. So when my son told me that a classmate passed away in his class, the first thing I asked him was, are you okay? Are you okay? Because you don't always know what people go through. You don't know how people grieve. And you know, I've done a lot of funerals in my day. I'm a preacher, and I've done a lot of funerals. And whenever I do a eulogy, I always tell people, don't let no one else dictate how you should grieve. Don't let no one else tell you how you should grieve. You should grieve in the way that is the most healthy for you. And I tell people all the time, and I've had some preachers come to me and go, you don't have to say that. Yes, I do. Because you don't tell nobody how to grieve over the loss of a loved one. Just like I wasn't going to sit here and tell my son how he should react. I wanted to hear how he wanted to react. And I was going to accept that. And I do say sometimes in eulogies, I'll say that one of the best ways to keep a person's memory alive is to tell stories. I have two sons, and I always tell my wife this. I say, I just want to put so much time into their lives that when I pass away, they'll be able to tell stories for days. It'd be like a week later and they're still telling daddy stories. Like, you remember when he did this? You remember when he did that? But yes, I mean, when I think about how we interact with like each other, one thing my cousin told me at the last funeral I was at, he said, we need to stop seeing each other only at funerals. Have you ever had somebody say, when you go to a funeral, why we only see each other at funerals? But the one thing is, have you ever heard this? Like when you go to a funeral, you ever heard it called a homegoing service? There's some, like sometimes in the Christian space, they will call funerals a homegoing service. Because I've been at many funerals, and they didn't want them to be called the funeral. They wanted to be called a homegoing service, and the reason why is because the person that has passed away is a Christian, and in the Christian faith, the belief is that you are not fully gone, even though you're fully gone from this earth. So in the Christian aspect, in the Christian dialect, we often think, hey, we will be back one day. Like when the new earth and the new heavens made, we will be back one day. So a lot of times when you go to some funerals that are Christian in nature, they'll be called homegoings because you're going home, but we'll see you. We'll be back one day. And where that comes from is from the book of Thessalonians. Actually, First Thessalonians. And so First Thessalonians, it's a letter that the Apostle Paul in the Bible wrote to the church of Thessalonica. And he was answering questions and he was letting them know certain things. And one of the things that he let the Thessalonians know was how to truly understand what it is to die in this world, but still know who Jesus is. There is a moment where they will not be in your life, but they will come back. And he pretty much explains that. And he says, knowing that it's this afterlife, this time between not being on this earth and being resurrected and being with God, that is, there's a moment there is time there. But if you're a person who's lost somebody, who's a believer, then you don't have to fully be sad because that person is where they're supposed to be, but yet you can grieve, but you can grieve with hope. The difference between understanding the afterlife as a believer and not is that you believe that they will be back. You have hope. But if you don't believe, then at the end of the road called earth, at the end of this road called life, you are operating with no hope. You're operating with no hope. So let's go. I got a Bible here. We're going to, and like, just listen to me. Just listen. I'm going to read a little bit and then I'm going to tell you what he says here. So if you go to First Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, and we're going to go down to, actually, is it First Thessalonians? Oh no, it's Second Thessalonians. No, it's not. It's first. Okay, the 4th chapter. We're going to go to verse 13. Check this out. And now, dear brothers and sisters, we want you to know what will happen to the believers who have died. Y'all hear that? Now we're going to let you know what happened to the believers who have died, just like what I said. And it said, the reason why we're going to let you know is so you will not grieve like people who have no hope. Now, he didn't say that you will not grieve because you can't tell nobody how to grieve. What he said is that you are not going to grieve like a person with no hope. So let me tell you what happens to the people who go away from this world so you won't grieve like people who have no hope. This is what he says. For since we believe that Jesus died and was raised to life again, we also believe that when Jesus returns, God will bring back with him the believers who have died. I'm going to tell you what happened to the deceased believers so you can grieve with hope. Listen, Jesus died, but Jesus will come back. And when he comes back, the other ones will come back too. That's what he said. I mean, it's clear as day. It's clear as day. So what does that mean? Like, to know that when Jesus is resurrected, when Jesus comes back on earth, that the others will come back too. That means that if there's a believer that you love, they're not going to be gone always. So knowing that, like, when a person passes away, you know you'll see them in another lifetime, in another day, it makes you grieve with hope. And that's why they call them homegoing services, because it's not that they are just gone forever. They've went home and you'll see them later because you have hope. You have a hope that other people don't have. Look, I know people who have came to Christ on their deathbed because when they were faced with the finality of mortality at the end of their life, they thought to themselves, there must be more to this. There must be more than just this right here. There must be more than just what have I been going through and what have I seen. There got to be more. And so knowing that there is more, knowing that there is something beyond this life, grieve with hope. And right now, like, for instance, I have a really good friend of mine who lost his wife about maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, lost his wife. And, he was very sad. But here's the one thing. He's still grieving. I mean, he's gonna be grieving a long time. They were married for like 40 years or something, 30 years, 40 years. I don't know how, some long. but he's going to be grieving for a long time, but he's going to be grieving with hope because he knows that one day he'll see this person again. It's going to be a while from now, but one day he will see, because it said in the book that when Jesus comes back, there will be people raised with him. And that's it. It is what it is, you know? I hope you got some out of this, because there's a lot of people right now that are hurting because they've lost someone. And all I want you to know is that it's not the end. That at some point you'll see them again. At some point. And it's not the end. And sometimes we need to hear that. Sometimes we need to hear that, because when you lose somebody you love, it can really have a really bad effect on you. But just know that it won't be forever. And, you know, the Bible says that this person will be back. And however that looks, I don't know how that looks. I just know that it is. All right. It's been good. I love you all. I am out. Way in word. I'm out.